Hi, good evening. It's Gene from maverickstar Observatory. Or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We have subscribers from Canada to Australia, and of course there are different time zones wherever you are. So, welcome. You know, guys, you are going to enjoy something about this video, I guarantee you that. But first of all, let me just make something absolutely clear. It is not my fault, it's not Gene's fault that, you know, your boss won't pay you any more money than what you're getting at the moment. If you're on benefits, it's not my fault that the government won't give you any more money. You know, I wish I could change these things for you, but I can't. And, you know, at this time of the year, I understand that there's a lot of frustration. You know, we all want to give our loved ones a better Christmas. I mean, wouldn't it be nice? I was saying to my partner the other day, wouldn't it be nice? You know, we get these crummy, crappy Christmas crackers every year, and there is no real gift inside there, is there? When you pop this, there's a stupid hat, and there is a rubbish gift, and a real bad joke in there. But, you know, it doesn't stop us buying them. But what I was saying to my partner, you know what I'd love to do? If I was a billionaire tomorrow, I'd love to put an ounce of gold in this cracker and, you know, a diamond necklace, so that when you actually pull, or a key to a car or a yacht, or, you know, a nice luxury holiday, you know, so when you pulled this cracker, something meaningful come out of it, and it was a real surprise and put a smile on your face. I'd love you all to have crackers like that this year, but the reality is we're not. The reality is that we do not share resources with each other on this planet. We have put borders in place to stop us doing that, so that whatever belongs to Canada is Canada's, whatever belongs to the United States is theirs, Russia is theirs, China is theirs. But I will say this, it's all about to change. I don't need a crystal ball to show you this. It is not something that is 50 years away that is going to happen. It's not even 20 years away. If you thought it was going to happen in 1,000 years, you're wrong. Do you know when it's going to happen? 10 years ago. It's already happening. What am I talking about? The climate has shifted dramatically on this planet. And if you, like some of the people in the comment section yesterday, which I don't mind, thought we had years and years left, we don't. The only reason something hasn't happened to you is just by sheer luck. If you don't understand that your energy prices are doubling every year, and that your food prices are going to continue to double every year from now on, and your wages aren't going to go up, then you're delusional. Yes, I'm calling you delusional because you think you have time left. Time, I'm sorry, has come to that point where it is already happening. You ask those people in Kentucky that had the houses wiped away by one of the largest tornadoes on record whether they had 10 or 15 years. You ask those people all over Europe that had the houses washed away if they had 10 or 15 years. You ask these people in China that saw the village submerged under 20 foot of water whether they had 10 or 15 years. Ask the people in Canada when the railway was washed away and the roads connecting Vancouver to the rest of the continent, whether they had 10 or 15 years. Do you understand that there is no more time left? It is just a matter of time before it intervenes with you personally on a bigger scale than what it is. You might be one of these people that say, Jesus Christ, didn't think this would ever happen to me. What do you think is going to happen in the coming years from now to Russia? Let's just talk about Russia, because we always talk about Canada. Canada's the same. New York, we have to remember, was under hundreds of feet of ice in the last glacial period. So we can talk about any of these countries. Europe under ice, England under ice. We do not have 10 and 15 years. It is only by sheer luck that these things haven't happened already. And you know what? I can understand some of the frustration of some of the people in our comment section when they, met the comments. They have a go at me. Look, it's got nothing to do with me. I'm just trying to inform you of some of the severities that are taking place in our world and say it's just a matter of time before they intervene with you personally, even though you don't feel they have already. Trust me, they have. Look, frustration at the moment is coming from a lot of areas. It doesn't need to be blamed on me for anything. You know what? I get it so much. Why are you begging? Why are you asking for money? Well, I'm telling you now, if we don't work together, if one of us don't have an observatory, then where are we going to get our information from? Where are we going to get the data from? Oh, I know what you're thinking. Oh, and I could mention them names. And I disagree massively with their science expertise and knowledge, because for a lot of them, how they get away with even calling themselves private researchers is bewildering. I could really have a field day with some of their knowledge of our solar system, but I won't. And I could point out individuals that are just wind-up merchants in the comment section, but I won't. And I know who some of these people are. You think I don't know you have bogus accounts and that you've got nothing better to do? I don't know whether you're an alcoholic or you're a drug addicted person or there's something mentally wrong with you, but if you've got nothing better to troll somebody on YouTube, your life is pretty dim. You need to get a grip. And I really don't understand how people find what we do here at the observatory so offensive. It's the 17th tomorrow. I could, if I listened to a lot of the comments sometimes, it's the 17th tomorrow, and a lot of people know what happens on the 17th. We pinpoint the magnetic North Pole position with the equipment that we've built here ourselves, which any individual, if they was to try and replicate the equipment that we've got and the technology, would have to invest over £100,000 to understand that. I've been through this many times, but tomorrow we will give whoever has supported this observatory and every single other person that information almost freely. I'm not putting a price tag on it. You get angry for me asking for some support because not one of us could deliver what we deliver at this observatory on our own. It requires a group effort. I struggle nearly every day of the year when I'm doing these updates to convince people that this is a team effort. I know first and foremost you guys that support this observatory understand this. You also, like me, get frustrated when you see some of the comments and think that that is completely unfair. Why do you think Google and YouTube have specifically gone out their way to target this channel? Why do you think that is? Well, they're not targeting these other channels, are they? The other channels have got their adverts running. The other channels are asking for people's support. And the other channels don't get strikes. But it's because they're self-proclaimed researchers. They go sniffing around the internet for stories and they clump them together, cherry-picking the data just like Michael Mann did with his his global warming graph. And then they sell it to you, regurgitated. We don't do that here. We might talk about the odd topic that's come up on mainstream news and ask you whether you feel that that is an honest representation of what is actually taking place in this world. But what we mainly do here at this observatory is collect our own data. We don't go to other sources for it. And we get targeted by delinquents for doing that. Why are they coming after us? It surprises me. I am subscribed to some of the other channels just like you, and I know, and I have had some personal conversations with some of these people from these channels. I'm not going to mention names, but I'm surprised that they get away with what they do, whilst others don't. I will tell you now, the reason why we're targeted is because we are seen as a threat. We're using scientific method to gather our data, which means we have invested through a few people that have, given us a donation here and there into equipment, so that we don't have to regurgitate third and fourth people's opinions on these matters. We have our oxygen sensors, CO2 detectors, and we can measure the atmospheric CO2 in the atmosphere. We can measure, the atmospheric oxygen content. And if we can't use the methods of using these electronics to do that, we've got other means of ways. As I've showed you, we can measure oxygen in other ways using chemistry. The reason why we're a threat is because we are credible, simple. If all the other channels are not getting picked on, there must be a reason. And that must be because whoever is in charge of who gets to stay on YouTube and who doesn't, they don't find you a threat. And they don't mind you brainwashing people and leading them off into fairy tale worlds with the likeliness of what could happen. I'm telling you now, they would love me to talk about Nibiru on this channel, and Katrina Dark Star and this, that other star. They would love me to talk about that. They'd reinstate that advert revenue in a flash. We are not making millions of pounds here. We're barely making enough to keep things going, and sometimes we don't. And I asked for a bit of help to clear up some of the deficit that we've ran up over the COVID pandemic, over the last 20 months. Some of you come forward and give us a bit of support. We've reduced it, but we didn't clear it. Yeah, you're frustrated, I'm frustrated. And it's going to get worse. Russia, I don't know how they're going to cope. If they do not ally up with more people further south, I do not know how they are going to see themselves through this coming years, because it is getting colder in Russia. It does look like the Antarctic weather is moving closer to central Russia. And I understand Siberia's always been Siberia. It's always been cold. It is going to get colder. It seems that the Arctic weather is tracking slowly behind the magnetic North Pole. And like a friend of mine recently said, and mentioned in the comment section yesterday, it could be, right, that the only other mechanism over the North Pole might play a part in the mechanics is what is already taking place, and that is the rotational axis. We've had excursions before. We've never had completed reversals. Not for 780,000 years we've not had a completed reversal. And it was suggested that during the last magnetic reversal there was an axis rotation migration as well. It make perfect sense if that's the case, because what is actually under the ice is corals and oil, and that tells us that the climate has never been always icy over the northern hemisphere. It was at some point tropical for trees to grow, and over years of the Earth's chemistry convert it into crude oil and gases. So it is not off the cards, and in either case it doesn't really matter, because we're probably, before we start to see some of the dramatic effects of what this pole reversal is going to cause, we're going to see wars breaking out, and we're close to that. And I'll tell you why. It's because Russia can't feed itself. China is going to experience more floods. Canada isn't going to be able to feed itself, and most of Central and Northern America likewise. A lot of European countries are not going to be able to feed themselves, and you don't need me to tell you that the arable land is going offline at an alarming rate, because there are plenty of people regurgitating that news. So when the food runs out, the wars will begin. And do you remember not so long ago Davos saying that by 2030, was it? 2030? By that time, you're going to be dizzy with all the changes that have gone on. You are going to be dizzy, because the changes that they're talking about is just how much they are going to rape and pillage what little you have left. And you will be dizzy by that point in time. Russia, China stuck their two fingers up to COP26. It's likely that they know that, because they have their own scientists, that the world is not going warmer, it is getting cooler. And they didn't want to be part of your money-raising little scam that you was trying to pull off on the world's public. You know, it makes me laugh. You know, they give nature zero credit for anything. Could it be? Well, there could be two reasons why people would think. Let's just talk about, you know, sea level rising. There could be two reasons why people would think that would be the case. One, that the actual ice caps are melting on this planet, and therefore, you know, stored water in ice form melts. Obviously, the sea levels rise. That could be expected to be one of the reasons. But what about subduction zones and tectonic movement? If your islands sit on a subduction zone, which is a tectonic plate which is going under another one, could that be a reason why your sea seems to be rising around your islands? The problem is that because there is a settlement of a city or, you know, a nation on a small island, and, you know, as far as history is recorded, which can only be in human terms 45,000 years old, that has always been a stable part of the earth to live. No. Everything on this planet, in our solar system, and in our galaxy is very fluid. It moves. It's only stupid human beings that don't. When the cities are bolted down so tight that they are going to throw out every single resource at trying to keep those cities sustained, only to fail. We're starting to see this happen, guys. Do you understand that? We don't have 10 years. We have run out simply of time. I understand your frustration. You know, I'm frustrated myself. Sick and tired of the lies, sick and tired of the corruption, and I'm sick and tired of, just like you are, being the one that has to pick up the bills for everything. It makes me a little angry, and I know it does you. And you can see people's anger boiling over. The amount of road rage I'm seeing with people just trying to get to work, and there's a traffic light holding them up, and you know, it seems like every minute of the hour is occupied with these tasks that we all have to get done in the day. And we're being held up. And when we're held up, we're being penalised by our bosses or whatever. You can understand why people are getting angry. But it's going to get much worse. And the reason for that is, as I've been telling you, we haven't even started to see the worst, because we have not even reached equilibrium with climate change and with the magnetic North Pole. And because of that, things will get worse. And I don't think we're going to make it. Because we are so close right now to the Third World War starting. where that spark that ignites that off is, could be anywhere. Have a look at where Russia's building up all its forces right now on the Ukrainian border. Have a look where NATO are strategically positioned all their missiles and how close to Russia's border that is. It seems like we've gone mental in the West. We've lost our common direction. And, the corruption seems to have filtered down there to the general public. And it seems to be the norm, or the only way for, the general public now to survive and keep their head above water. It is a disaster. And it isn't something that is going to be 10 or 15 years away. It already is. Like I said, ask those in Kentucky that houses they're destroyed by that tornado, biggest on record. Ask those people in Europe when the houses were washed away by flash floods never seen on record. It is by supporting observatories like this that you will get your information. First hand, not regurgitated like a lot of other more successful in terms of subscriber channels that are on YouTube. We do something completely different here. And occasionally, I have to do a video like this to remind you why that is. It's a sad time, it really is, when so many more people could do so much and yet they choose to do nothing, or give that help to somebody else that don't deserve it. I get frustrated at that. Guys, there's a link down there in the description if you want to help us. Tomorrow is the most important day of the month. As you know, it's the 17th. We'll take a latest poll position and relay that information back to you. We've also got, from one of our superstars, some magnetometer data which I've got to get processed later on today. So, I bid you all a good day. Take care of your loved ones. Support us. As always. Bye for now.